Hello and welcome to this lesson. Today I'm gonna show you the comparative and superlative degree of adjectives. Remember, an adjective is a word that refers to a quality. Look at these examples. There are 4 people: Michelle, William, Claire, and Fred. Michelle's hair is longer than William's, but Claire's hair is the longest. In the first part, I used the comparative degree of the adjective long, and in the second part, I used the superlative degree of the adjective long. The comparative establishes a comparison between 2 elements, while the superlative establishes a comparison of one element among all others. The superlative highlights the most remarkable element among all others. The rules are very simple. You have to be aware of the amount of syllables of the adjective, because it depends if it's a long word or a short word. If the adjective is a long word, you have to add a word before. In the case of the comparative, that word is more, and in the case of the superlative, that word is most. If the adjective is a short word, you have to add an ending to the word, a suffix. In the case of the comparative, you add er, and in the case of the superlative, you add est. Normally, you use the article the with the superlative, unless you use a possessive adjective. For example, this is the most valuable thing that I have. Or, this is my most valuable treasure. Now, look at these cases. If the adjective is a word that ends in y, you change it into I, and then you add the corresponding ending. Er if it's the comparative, or est if it's the superlative. If the adjective is a word that ends in a silent e, an e that is not pronounced, or normally an e, you only add what's left because the word already has that e. If the adjective is a word that ends in a sequence of a consonant-vowel consonant, it means that the 3 final letters are in that order, such as big, or fat, or thin. You double the last consonant and add the corresponding ending. Now, there are irregular adjectives, which means they change their form when you use the comparative and superlative degree. These are those adjectives. It's simple, right? It's always adding er or est, except in long adjectives. Now, with the comparative degree, you can use the word than. This word forces you to mention the second element to be compared. You can avoid using it when the comparison is already clear, because both elements have been mentioned before. For example, Elizabeth is beautiful, but Alice is more beautiful. Here, I don't use the word than because it's clear that I'm comparing Alice to Elizabeth, who was mentioned before. Now, look at the second example. Alice is more beautiful than Elizabeth. Here, I'm forced to mention Elizabeth because I don't know who or what I am comparing Alice to, because it was not mentioned before. Besides, the sentence would sound incomplete. Finally, you can use the adjective between 2 words as to indicate that both the first and the second element are equal in terms of their characteristics, so there is no difference between them. It means that none of them stands out against the other. For example, Mary is as beautiful as Kelly. It means that both are equally beautiful. Well, that's all for today's lesson. I hope you understood, and see you next time. Goodbye!